SD42 education table representing parents and guardians of over 16,000 students. And we serve the PACs of Maple Ridge and Pitt Meadows. Sorry, I'm going like real fast. We would like to acknowledge and are grateful that the work of our PACs and our DPACs takes place in the traditional and unceded territories of the Halkomen speaking people of the Katzie First Nation and Kwantlen First Nation. We also recognize our First Nations, Charter Métis, and Inuit students and their families in our school communities, and we are committed to the ongoing process of reconciliation. Here is our agenda for tonight. Can we get a motion to adopt the agenda? Paulina, seconded by Amanda. And all in favor? Actually, I suppose we need to launch a poll.
I can't do the poll for mine.
Okay. Oh, there we go. All right, motion carried. And can we get a motion to adopt the minutes from November 9th? Or is that? Yeah. Okay, now I can't see everybody. Hang on. Right. All right. Amanda, I can't see everyone. Can you?
Yeah, I will.
Out
So
for a second?
Katie's motion, and DPAC rep from Kanaka is second.
Perfect, thank you. And can we launch the poll? Oh, we got an opposed for the minute. Was there a correction that was needed? Andre?
That was me. Sorry, I don't want to pose.
Okay.
I pressed the wrong.
Mistake.
Yes, sorry.
No
I got
worries.
these kids jumping on me while I'm trying to do this.
No worries.
I do
Thanks
not
so much.
oppose. I certainly approve.
Okay, thank you. All right, so motion carried. All right, and tonight we have David Vandergooten from SD42 Assistant Superintendent presenting with a bit of information about our kindergarten information session and first aid requirements. So I'll pass it over to David.
Thanks, Trish, and good evening, everyone. Yeah, a bit of a potpourri of a number of things. I have 4 updates for you tonight, but I thought I would start off with the decision to close the schools because of the snow day, as it's timely and it's just occurred. So just to give everyone some background of how that whole process happens, the superintendent makes that call. And what really happens is we have 2 facilities managers that at 4:30 in the morning start out and look at all of the roads around our schools, both in Pitt Meadows and in Maple Ridge. And they're in constant communication with both our superintendent, our secretary treasurer, and then based on the road conditions and the side roads, and really ensuring major consideration is student and staff safety. They make that call if to stay open or to close. And as you're well aware, that call was made to close the schools today. And as I was driving around the community today, many of the side roads were still unplowed for the remainder of the day. So I think that was the right call. I helped man the phones at the board office this morning, and we had, I think I only had one call of someone that wasn't happy that we had closed the schools. And a lot of feedback from folks thinking that was the right call. But no matter which call you make, you're always going to have someone not happy, no matter which direction you go. The other consideration regarding school closure is the staff shortages that we've been seeing, and of course, like I said before, the staff safety. We've seen a lot more staff absences, both to illness and to other factors. And we don't have, we are still seeing a number of shortages around TOC coverage. So that's the other consideration. And we have about 10% of our staff that actually don't live in the community, that live Mission, Abbotsford, and even Chilliwack. So when you consider all of those locations had schools closed today too, and many got hit even harder than we did in terms of road conditions. We want to make sure to keep all of our staff safe. And I'm just looking to see if there's anything else. I think that's really where we stand. We do ensure that our administrators are in the buildings during snow days. So if any students are dropped off, they are able to come in, and then staff are able to communicate with parents to come pick up. So we never have any students left at the school, and they have no access to get in. And of course, there could be a safety concern, especially as the weather continues to drop outside. Any questions around the school closure snow day before I move on? I can't see anyone, so
Nope, I don't see any.
Okay, thanks. The
Trish,
next
just before
report.
we carry on there, just one question. I couldn't find my raise hand function fast enough. Why does it take so long to report out that it's going to be a snow day if they're in about 4:30 making that call? Why are we finding out about 6:30, 7 o'clock when parents are now heading off to work?
Well, ideally, we've posted everything by 6:30. What we're also doing is we're looking at the surrounding school districts to see what their intentions are, what their conditions are. So Harry is on a group chat with Fraser Valley superintendents and also Surrey and Coquitlam, so that they can get a sense what the region is happening, and we try to coordinate as such. We did have a glitch with our district website this morning. IT has been looking into it and has solved the issue. It had to do with a setting for limiting concurrent connections. So that was one of the glitches that we had. So for some parents, were not able to get to the website in a timely manner. But what our comms department did was updated all of the school websites with the same information, so parents could access it in many different ways.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. So Harry's also asked me to report on, you asked some questions regarding first aid in schools. And just to give you a bit of a background, WorkSafe BC sets the occupational first aid requirements for our work sites. So for example, schools with 11 to 50 workers have 2 designated level 1 first aid folks. Schools with 51 to 100 have 2 people with level 2, and the district also offers the CPR level C first aid courses twice per year during our district-wide Pro D days. So there's that opportunity for staff to continue to get trained and to maintain their certifications. It's sometimes a misconception around how first aid works. First aid, occupational first aid folks in schools are primarily there for staff injuries, but we're also there as a prudent parent. So if a student gets injured, the first aid attendants are on site and helping students, but we're also looking and assessing what's happening and contacting emergency services as necessary, and also contacting parents so that they know that an injury happened, and that could be anything from, you know, a scratch or a bump, which in primary ice seems to solve everything, to a more serious injury where we've called in an ambulance and that child has been taken to the hospital. We always err on the side of caution, and we never hesitate to call 911 as needed for any sort of serious injury in any of our sites. Any questions regarding that before I talk about professional development days?
Does anyone have any questions from the information on the first aid? One thing that you might want to touch on, David, is I know that some parents, mostly at the high school level, have inquired about these schools' mandate to keep naloxone on site and staff training requirements around that.
And that's something that I don't have a lot of background information on. I would have to give you, probably reach out to Amanda, our health and safety coordinator, and probably Kim knows more about that than I do from that point of view. So I would have to actually get further information. I would hate to give you bad information regarding that.
Kim, is that
Okay.
something that you can speak to, or?
Well, I'm probably not the right person to speak to it, but I know that there's naloxone in all the high schools. And the administration, from what I understand, should be trained. I have a large concern about naloxone in schools and young people accessing this in a good way. So it's a good question, and it's a topic that we probably need to keep talking about, because yeah, young people are using substances, and we need to make sure that we have access to life-saving drugs at all times. My opinion.
And like I said, I think Amanda, who is our health and safety manager and is responsible for first aid training, would be a good person to comment on that.
There is naloxone in all the high schools, but that doesn't help a person in grade 7 that's using substances, which it is happening. So it's a conversation maybe that DPAC can continue.
All right, I will pass that on to Harry to see if he can loop in Amanda to be on our conversation with the ICY team.
That sounds great. And then Pro D days. DPAC had some questions regarding Pro D days, and there's sort of multiple categories of non-instructional days, and I just thought I would give a short primer on those. Basically, what we have is we have a school growth planning day where schools get together as a staff and look at their data and set their school growth plan goals for that year. We're just finalizing the summaries of those school growth plan goals, and those will go to the board in, I believe, their upcoming board meeting. I was just meeting with Shannon regarding that today. And all of the school growth planning goals are actually posted to all of the school websites. So if you wanted to see last year's school growth plan goals for your school, you can go on the school website and you'll see that they're posted on each site. Schools spend a lot of time and energy creating those goals, looking deeply into student data, and trying to ensure that each year they're improving their students' success in many different learning goals. We also have 2 school-based Pro D days. Those are days that the schools organize learning opportunities, usually based on their school growth planning goals, but most schools have school Pro D committees, and together they're collectively organizing events, working with the principal on learning opportunities. There's a provincial day. That's that October day. Happens the same time every year. And then we have two district-wide days. Those are usually big events. During COVID, they were all Zoom-based. This coming January, we're going to have a hybrid event where our keynotes are still Zoom-based, but our afternoon learning are going to be based out of Thomas Haney. And then May, we're going to be hopefully all back to normal where we were before, where we have a large keynote in the gym. Part of the School Act sets out that not one non-instructional day needs to be dedicated to enhancing Indigenous student achievement. We, I believe, as a district, go above and beyond that. We ask schools during their school growth planning day to look at that. We definitely focus on those on our district Pro D day, and I know that many schools are also looking at that during their school-based days. Some examples of two presenters we've had recently is Dr. Kevin Lamoureux. Some of you may have had the opportunity to see him speak. Very powerful speaker from the prairies. And then Brad Baker, who comes from the Lower Mainland, is actually now working for the ministry. And again, very powerful speaker that our staff have had the opportunity to hear. We've also in the past partnered with DPAC so that we may have a Pro-D speaker during the day for our staff. And then there's an evening session for parents. And if memory serves me right, I think Dr. Unger, Nurturing Young Children's Resilience, was one such presenter where he did an evening session for parents and a day session for staff. Pro-D days normally are for school district 42 employees, but we're always looking at opportunities to partner with DPAC to see what we can do, especially if we have someone that's potentially staying the entire day. Is there some sort of opportunity where we can have both an evening session for parents and excuse me, a day session for our staff? And then finally, a very quick update of what's happening this school year. January 23rd, which is just around the corner, we have Dr. Kyra Garrison, and she's going to be talking to our staff about enhancing intercultural capacities for our students and ourselves. Shannon Sherkle is another keynote that we're happening to concurrent, so people will have to make a choice. And that's breaking up with traditional assessment practices and really asking staff to look deeply at how they're assessing our children and how can we continue and enhance our practice. And then finally, there's a math session from Carol Fullerton. She's developing competency mathematics in primary classes. And then May 10th, we've got Jennifer Katz teaching to diversity, the universal design for learning. So I think that's going to be a very popular session. Any questions about Pro-D? I can't see the screen, so I'm assuming not.
I don't see any hands raised.
Okay, and then finally, I've done so much talking, I apologize. But finally, I just want to bring everyone's attention to the upcoming session tomorrow that Mel Scarcella, the district helping teacher for early learning, and myself are going to do. It's called Transition to Kindergarten and K Registration Q&A. So we're hoping to get as many new K parents, so this would be new for next September, out on the Zoom call. Starts at 7. We publicized it on the district website through our social media, and I think you folks have also done the same. It's again like 7 o'clock. We'll be talking about everything on the nuts and bolts on how to register, how to practice registering, tips and tricks and dates, upcoming dates. And I just want to make sure that everyone understands, how quickly some of our schools fill up so they don't take it for granted, and they log in at 2 o'clock when we open it at noon, and realize they can't get into their catchment school potentially. And Mel's going to talk regarding really how to have your child transition seamlessly into kindergarten, what to expect those first few months, how to support your child, because for many children, this is a big change for them. And as parents, especially if this is your first child going into kindergarten, how to handle it yourself. And I think it's going to be a great session. And that's my report.
Yeah, thank you, David. Is there any questions for David before we let him go? Brian.
Hi, David. Brian here. Just a quick curious
Hi, Brian.
question about Prody Days. So who determines what content is opened up for teachers for Prody Days? Is it at the district level or at the provincial level?
That's a great question. So we have a district professional development committee, and that comprises of principals, myself as a senior leader in the district office, and the teachers, MRTA, the teachers union. And we work collaboratively. We send out surveys to staff. We ask for potential themes. We also look at school growth plans and other ideas of where we want to, put our focus on. And then, of course, we're also looking at the provincial curriculum and areas of interest from our staff. So it's been a very collaborative approach. I've been involved in it for at least 10 years. And what we're hoping for is when the calendar for the next few years gets approved, we'll start working on those, because for many speakers, you have to work sometimes 2, sometimes 3 years out to get some folks.
Right. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions? No, seeing none. All right. Thank you so much, David, for taking the time out of your evening to come out and talk to us.
Happy to do so. Thank you.
All right. All right, so moving on to future presentations. In January, we will be having a Trustees 101 that the trustees will be putting on for us. We are looking at doing this one in person, so it's a little bit more sociable so that everybody has a chance to come and talk to the trustees face to face. We're just looking at securing a venue, and then we'll update everybody on that. In February, we are going to have a presentation on the ICY teams, which are the integrated child and youth teams that are developed in our school district. And after that, we will have an overview of the BCC PAC Summit by our BCC PAC rep, Alex Millet. And then we wanted to put out some feelers about an internet safety, safe online info that clicks. If any parents would be interested in attending a session, this would be a paid session that DPAC would cover if there is interest. So if you can push that out to your PACs and see if there's parent interest in that, and then let us know, and then we can look into booking that. All right. Well, we will move on to our trustee presentation. We do have Sue on the call today, our new chair of the trustee board, Elaine Yamamoto, and our vice chair, Kim Dumore. Which one of you will be presenting tonight?
I think that'll be me, Trish. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Elaine.
Yeah, and thank you, Kim, as well. Jump in if I miss anything or if you want to add anything, of course. There isn't an awful lot to update. We're looking forward to the January meeting, and I think it's wonderful that it will be in person. So we'll get to meet some of the representatives. And the one big announcement that we do have is the Eric Langton Elementary announcement. That came out last week. we've been strongly advocating for the expansion and replacement of Eric Langton for a while now. Eric Langton is our French immersion dual track school that services the eastern side of the district, as well as our town center. It's been identified as a key priority in our strategic facilities plan, and it's a $46 million+ investment from the province. The other exciting thing will be that it has a neighborhood learning center. So there will be childcare available there as well, and community programming will be able to continue in the school at that point. Looking to break ground, my understanding is next year, and looking to have occupancy for 2025. The public consultation process will start very shortly. It'll be in the next few months, and DPAC, of course, is one of our key partners in that. Again, it'll be expanded. It'll be go from about 400 students to just over 600 students. So that's exciting. And the way it will be built is, if you're familiar with Eric Langton, it has the gravel fields. That's where the new school will be built, and then the old school will be torn down once the new school is occupied. So there should be a more seamless sort of build there. We started again with our new board. It's quite fun to start over again with the second term for most of us, and then our two new trustees, Gabe Leosis and Hudson Campbell. We're into 3 days of orientation at the moment, and we'll start with be doing 2.5 more days in Vancouver on a provincial level with the BC STA's Learning Academy. I think that's about it, except we'll be looking forward to seeing everyone in person in January. Kim, did you have anything to add? Did I miss anything?
I was feverishly writing notes, but the notes are not that important. But I would just say thank you so much for promoting and advertising your events. And bingo night was super fun again at In School. Greece at Thomas Haney, and trustees want to attend these events, and so it's really challenging for us to search everybody's website. So if there's an opportunity to email us,
Come here. Sorry.
Pardon?
No, I thought I was muted. I'm so sorry.
We're yelling at a child. That's okay. Maybe a dog, maybe a cat, you never know. So if you have opportunities for trustees to attend, we will definitely try. Fundraisers, all the things. We want to participate. So well, I'm speaking for myself. I want to participate, but I'm pretty sure everybody does. We can't do all things, but we do have the Christmas concerts loaded into our calendar, and wow, they're plentiful. And that's exciting. We get to be in person and have fun again together. Just kind of a quick aside to maybe I'll switch my trustee hat to my foundry hat for a second and just say we had a Pro D Days a couple weeks ago on a Thursday, I think, and invited teachers and KP staff to come to Foundry for a service providers opportunity. It was well attended. I think we had 30 folks come through Foundry and hear from various different community partners that can support young people in the community. And so I would extend an offer to DPAC if anybody from DPAC wants to learn what's happening at Foundry. We are a huge stakeholder as it pertains to the young people in our community. I love working there, can you tell? And I personally invite you to come connect with me, and I will tour you about and let you know all the fabulous things that we have for SD42 students. Thanks, everyone.
Perfect. Thank you, Kim. And sorry about that. My daughter was yelling at me from the other room and she kind of sounded like those Muppets. Are there any questions for our trustees? I don't see any. Okay, so our next slide is just a reminder of our upcoming Trustee 101 in January, and that budget planning is going to be taking place soon, and to look for opportunities for input. And the next upcoming board meetings are December 7th, January 18th, and February 15th. Okay, the MRTA. I don't think we have anyone from MRTA on the call. And I don't see anyone from QP either. And I don't see anyone from Maple Ridge principals and vice principals. So we will move on to Paulina for her treasurer's report.
Our accounts are still the same at $7,433.45 for our gaming. Our general account is at $4,740.15 for a total of $12,173.60. That's all.
Perfect. And then we are going to pass this over to Craig to do an update on our DPAC fundraiser.
Thank you so much, Trish. I'm just going to put a link in the chat there. It's the link for the 50/50 online fundraiser. So this will be a raffle and 50/50. It's being run by DPAC. What we're doing is getting PACs to join in at a $500 buy-in, hopefully sponsored by the community, getting donations. We currently have 6 participants. It's 5 schools. And then DPAC is the 6th participant. So we have 6 $500 prizes. We are looking at applying for that gaming license pretty quick here. So this is the last call for anybody that does want to participate with their school. I've put the sign up there. So just go in and sign up for something, and that's your commitment to joining. You don't need the prize right now to sign up. We just need your commitment that you will follow through with that when needed. And then we can list your school on that gaming license. Once the gaming license is started, though, we won't be able to add schools in after the fact. So if you have any questions, please email SD42 DPAC, and we'll start applying for that in the next week. Thanks so much.
Okay, perfect. Did anybody have any questions for Craig regarding the fundraiser? I don't see any. Okay, so moving on to our old business. If you are going to be using the DPAC Zoom accounts in order to have your meetings, if you can, please send us your polls at least a day before. Just because sometimes it gets a little tricky trying to get the polls in the day of. And we only have one Zoom account, so please try and send your meeting dates ahead as soon as you find them out if you need the Zoom account, so that we can make sure that we can get you in. Continue to send us your PAC fundraisers. That has been quite a big hit with lots of people being able to kind of chip in and visit different schools and their activities. And we will continue to put those out on social media. We are trying to find your best hot lunch suppliers so that we can put together a list of the ones that you want to rave about, so that we can send those out to other PACs that are having issues finding or securing suppliers. So do send those our way. And then moving on to our new business. So I attended the youth planning table, and they have asked us to push this survey out to kids that are aged 11 to 24. So that would be anyone in grades 6, 7, and all of high school. They're trying to collect some information regarding programs that they offer in Maple Ridge, and they would like the kids to give the feedback. So if we can push that out to our PACs and on their PAC pages to get that filled out for them, that would be greatly appreciated. And then our upcoming dates. So we have a K registration info session, which is happening tomorrow at 7. And then our grade 8 registration information session is on January 26th at 7. These will all be on Zoom. And you can pre-register or you can watch it live on YouTube. Kim, you had a question.
If I may, I just wanted to comment on the youth planning table survey and the importance of it. The last survey was done almost five and a half years ago, and I think there was about 700 surveys that were received to frame the youth strategy for the city of Maple Ridge. And so from the youth strategy, that's where all programming is done for all youth intentions for the city of Maple Ridge. And so, you know, improvements to the hours of the Greg Moore Youth Center, accessing various services at Foundry, the U Plan table. So it's super important that we get as much feedback as we possibly can to identify the gaps for young people in our community. So that was just my shameless plug to please share the survey.
Thanks, Kim. Okay, did anybody have any questions on that stuff?
Trish?
Elaine, was that a question? Yeah.
Yeah, can I ask, I noticed for the K registration information session, it says watch via YouTube. Will that be recorded so people can watch it after the fact as well?
It will be, yes.
Oh, perfect. Okay, thank you.
And I think when we did it last year, we had, well, I have to double check. It was like 200 people that watched it after on YouTube.
Is there a plan for French immersion as well? In the works?
We do cover both French immersion and choice programs.
Thank you, David.
Like Montessori.
Yeah, and then we did push out, I believe, on social media, Katie, correct me if I'm wrong and I didn't send it to you. The French immersion board is looking for members.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did push that out on social media. That was brought to our attention at BC CPAC that they are looking for members because they are lacking and they need more. Okay, all right, so moving on to our information to share. So the Casey First Nations is having a Christmas craft fair at the Casey Health and Community Center in the gym from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. this Saturday. That date's not in there, but it is this Saturday at, so in the gym at the Casey Health and Community Center. I encourage you all to go down there and see that. The Maple Ridge Christmas Festival Society is having their Christmas in the Park and the Santa Claus Parade also on Saturday from 4 until 8, the parade from 6 till 7:30. And we're still looking for volunteers. The Safe Online Info That Clicks is having a free virtual presentation on December 5th. Anyone wishing to book TransLink workshops for grade 6s and 7s can do that by contacting Karen at TransLink. One of the things we learned at BC CPAC is there is a True Earth fundraiser, which BC CPAC is currently running, which is a hands-off fundraiser that runs all year long and actually doesn't close. So anyone can just stop at your store and you get a certain percentage of that back to your PAC. So that's a great one to check out if you're looking for easy fundraisers. There's also a Safety Reflectors school fundraiser and a Nelly Clean fundraiser and Kona ice cream. And we've got some information from Las Tacos for the hot lunch program that they run. If you're interested in that, the email is there. And for grad parties, we received some information on a selfie ring that you can rent for the evening, which is like a self-propelled roaming selfie ring that wanders throughout your grad celebrations if anybody's looking for something cool for their grad ceremonies. And we already covered the Santa Claus parade, and we'll move on to our PAC voice. Does anybody have anything that they would like to share, something cool happening in their schools, questions they'd like to ask? Absolutely anything.
I just have a question.
Yeah.
I think it was the last meeting we had was brought up that we were going to put together a list for the hot lunch program. And the woman that runs the hot lunch at Alouette was just wondering where that's at and if.
Sorry, you seem to be cutting out and we only caught a piece of that.
Oh, sorry, I'll try again. Just wondering if the hot lunch region list is getting put together, because the lady that does the hot lunches at Alouette is interested in getting involved, and I wasn't sure who the contact person is.
Yeah, just have her email DPAC, and I guess we can form a subcommittee to help put that list together of some of the hot lunch coordinators from the schools, and hopefully they can come up with a pretty awesome list that we can share out on our DPAC page.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Awesome. Anybody else have any questions, things they want to share? Things happening at their school? Fundraisers, plays, craft market? No? Okay. We'll move on to a motion to adjourn the meeting. Okay, so we've got Kanaka, seconded by Paulina. And we launch the poll. Okay, motion carried. I always like how the adjournment poll fills up faster than any of the other ones. All right, well, thanks everyone for attending and participating in tonight's meeting. Our next meeting will be on December 14th, and that will be following the first school board meeting, which I encourage you to go to. And am I correct that it's at the Department of Education in person? Yes, perfect. All right, thanks everyone.